What is up, Earthnoids and Spacenoids? I am just a simple new type, and in this episode, we are starting out the UC90s with a bang. This time, we are finally breaking down the return of Johnny Ridden. Last time, we learned that Johnny's relationship with Kycelia and the Zombies were a sham, and he in fact hates the zombie family. After the war, he was approached by Shin Matsunaga, and the two took care of the ghosts of their past. Shin tells the world that Johnny is dead, but he is in fact still alive. In this episode, we meet Lead Wayline and the Federation Survey Service, an organization responsible for documenting wartime. Lead will begin investigating the mystery that is Johnny Ridden. So let's get into this. Lead Wayline launches in the Full Armor Gundam Type B. Like the Type A, the FA-78-1B Full Armor Gundam Type B is developed to create a new weapon loadout for the RX-78 Gundam. This mobile suit specializes in medium-range bombardment against enemy fleets. Its firepower is vastly increased. The control system and weapons are completely overhauled from Type A. Instead of the twin beam rifle, the Type B had a triple beam rifle mounted on its right arm. On its left arm was a small shield with two integrated beam sabers. The rest of the armor and the 360 rocket cannon mounted on the right side of the backpack were unchanged. Other weapons include 60mm Vulcans, a shoulder 7-tube missile pod, a 360mm rocket cannon, and a large missile launcher. Like other RX-78 Gundams, this also has a core block system and a long-distance optical observation system. His computer picks up two Gelgoog high-mobility types and a Gelgoog cannon. The MS-14C Gelgoog cannon is a modified variant of the Gelgoog made specifically for the Chimera Corps during the One-Year War. It has a specialized head unit, and the cannon is mounted on a B-type backpack. Even with a heavy cannon, this mobile suit retains its mobility. Other weapons include a twin-beam sword, a beam rifle, a 360mm giant bazooka, a 3-tube missile launcher, and much more. The Gelgoog cannon is acting as the commander unit. Rather than handling the Gelgoogs, Lead goes straight for the battleship. Someone on the radio is telling him that he is going off mission. He turns off his radio and goes in to destroy the ship, and then focuses his attention on the Gelgoogs. Similar to the plot to assassinate Giran, we get a point of view of someone looking back at the One-Year War. It wasn't until UC-0089 that many of the hidden events that occurred during the One-Year War started becoming unclassified. AFF created the Federation Survey Service, which helped uncover some of these events. The creation of the Type B Gundam was recently known to the world. The Federation Survey Service, through testing, learned that this unit was designed to pierce directly through the enemy mobile suits and go straight for the battleships. The Federation has yet to officially comment on the existence of this mobile suit. Lead finishes off the Gelgoogs, but one of them comes back to life. It starts reforming and changes blue. The unit starts saying, "Congratulations on your return, Johnny Ridden." The Gelgoog strikes Lead's mobile suit, destroying his unit. Lucky for him, it isn't real life, but rather a simulation. He talks to Remy and asks if they saw the blue Gelgoog, but no one seems to believe him. He hears the name Johnny Ridden in his head, but he reminds himself that he is Lead Wayline. UC-0079, a team of Zaku first mass production types, heads out towards a Papua-class escorting Gattle. The MS-06A Zaku 2 first mass production type was put into production after Zeonic found many flaws with the Zaku 1. This version has increased armor to better protect the pilot. Remember, the Zaku 1 is really janky and breaks just by looking at it. This is more or less the standard Zaku 2 that everyone loves, but the Heat Hawk hasn't been created yet. It has a 105mm machine gun and the initial type bazooka, which will be improved upon in other variants. Gattle surround a Papua class, but the Zakus rush past them. The Gattle is a space fighter bomber used by the Principality of Zeon during the One-Year War and considered the first space combat bomber ever. It could hold 2 pilots and is used mainly for fortress and spaceship defense. The MS-21C Drac from Stardust Memory is designed from the Gattle. It is equipped with 4 30mm Vulcans, a pair of 5-tube missile launchers, and 2 large anti-ship missiles. One soldier named Rubens rushes in with the initial type bazooka and shoots. As he reloads, he pushes too many Gs and drops the bazooka round. Back at the base, he is hit by a superior officer telling him that he has been told thousands of times not to reload in such high acceleration. This is a memory from Rubens himself. UC-0090. Remia is escorting an older Rubens. He notes that she was a former Zeon member, and her accent is very noticeable. One thing to note is Remia's father was Roy Greenwood, an elite soldier featured in Gundam Pilot series of biographies, The Brave Soldiers in the Sky. He went missing in action at the end of the One-Year War. Remia takes Rubens to Lead and the FSS. They show him the old Zaku 2 first mass production type. FSS notes that in the early days of Zeon, they never considered hand-to-hand combat as a possibility, and thus no need for something like a Heat Hawk. However, the bazooka was intended to be swapped out with something more nuclear. This was before the One-Week War and before the Antarctic Treaty was signed, so Zeon was planning on long-term nuclear capabilities. An existing version of this unit has yet to be confirmed until now. Rubens is nostalgic as he looks inside the A-Type. He informs them that many of the ace pilots of the one-year war grew up on this unit, including Char Aznable and the Black Tri-Stars. He says that everyone that used this unit would sign their name on the seat. He points to his codename, Rabbit, and says that this is his signature. Next to it is a fancy A, so I assume that is Char. Also, I want to know who Craig the Joker Pete is. What's this guy's story? Remia says that they tried to reach out to as many as possible. Rubens asks if he is the only one who responded. Remia is silent, so we can assume that they are all dead. Rubens said he didn't want to come here and recall his memories of the war. He thinks of the Battle of Solomon and can't put the horrors into words. But he says that he does hold nostalgic feelings as well. He says that you can never meet people you could trust more during a time of great horror. We flash back to Rubens talking to his former commander. He says that a miss can not only get you killed, but also your comrades killed. He says that he hasn't been this calm since the end of the war. Later, Remia and Led are working on the report on the A-Type Zaku 2. Led says he wants to know more information about Johnny Ridden and teases Remia about the glitch in the simulator. She says that Johnny Ridden is famous. She pulls up a bunch of files that they have on the subject of Johnny Ridden. There happens to be several people claiming the name. This is a great retcon that consolidates Johnny Ridden's character. We get images from Gundam Pilot series of biographies, The Brave Soldiers in the Sky, along with the Battle Chronicle Johnny Ridden. One is a love story between Kycilia and Zabi, while the other shows Johnny's hatred for the Zabi family. So what is the real story exactly? It seems this is the manga where we are going to find that out. A squad of Ashimers fly over an Air Force base. Led, Remia, and Scott head out to a military base that happens to have a maid cafe for some reason. Also, Scott is a part of the team and has been hanging out in the background. They are there to meet Remia's contact regarding intel on Johnny Ridden. They meet with Broglie Liger of the Mobile Suit Air Force Company. They have questions regarding his former squad. They show Broglie a picture of the Ball Bomber. The RB-79M Ball Type M, also known as the Ball Bomber, is a variant of the Ball that focuses on placing mines on the battlefield. The low recoil cannon of the original Ball is replaced with a composite sensor. Also, its manipulator arms are shortened to prevent contact with the mines. So how many test pilots blew up learning that they needed to shorten the arms? See, this is the Gundam lore I actually care about. The MMB-0E floating mine is equipped on the unit with 48 mines total. A sensor is deployed around the mines for contact detonation, though remote detonation is possible as well. During the one-year war, EFF was getting desperate to keep up with Zeon's mobile suits. This is when the Ball was created. Although able to break through Zeon forces, many Balls suffered extensive damage, so much so that it was borderline inhumane. This is when EFF created the Ball Bomber. These units were stationed mainly on Luna 2 and would plant bombs on known Zeon routes. This was not only effective in protecting Luna 2, but it also took Balls away from the main action while still being useful. It is said that no Ball Bombers exist anymore. Broglie mentions that when EFF went all out at the end of the one-year war, most of the Ball Bombers were converted back to regular Balls. Remia asks about the emblem. He says it is related to Johnny Ridden. We learn about the backstory behind the unicorn in our first Johnny Ridden video. Be sure to go check that out as well. We flash back to his squad of Ball Bombers scattering bombs during the one-year war. A Saberfish is destroyed at their 6 o'clock. They think enemies are approaching, but it was a distraction. A gang of Zakus come from behind and destroy their Salamis ships, along with a Columbus class. He notices a red Zaku. The Crimson Lightning himself, Johnny Ridden, attacks them. The Balls are completely destroyed, including Broglie's Ball, but he is alive, drifting out into space. He says that he will continue to fight no matter what. Johnny Ridden sees Broglie's fearlessness. He says from this day forward, he is worthy of the Ridden emblem. It's worn by warriors who never yield. He says to wear it so he knows who he is. If they ever meet again in battle, they will have a glorious fight. He leaves Broglie alive. From that moment forward, Broglie began using the symbol, and it became the coat of arms for his company. He never did meet Johnny Ridden again, however. Led remembers the simulation with the blue Gelgoog. As the team leaves, Broglie says that he welcomes their return with a huge smile. And that will do it for our first dive into the return of Johnny Ridden. As a Zeon pilot, you would think that the focus would be on Johnny Ridden and mainly Zeon during the one-year war. But surprisingly, 2 chapters were all about declassified EFF mobile weapons. Next time, the FSS will investigate a Cyber New type and a Zaku high mobility ground type. They will also learn more about the GM Quell. But that will do it for now, new types. Remember, make sure you have every bit of information in writing. Peace.